This is Nick the Quick, and we start our new season off, of course, with my man Dave the Rave. And he always brings in a great show with the high schools, which we like to, because they're already playing, right, Dave?
Yeah, we're going to be into week 2 this weekend. So, yeah, we played week 0 and week 1.
Okay. And actually, they're doing that basically to get more, state games in? Is that
yeah, trying to get more games in because they expanded the playoffs. So, they started a little bit earlier.
Okay. And, of course, I like to go with Dave. We always go through the best players that we're expecting back this year, and we go through the teams, 1 to 10 usually, and then he always has a little list of teams that might be doing something. And, of course, we always have to start off with Red Bank Catholic down at the shore, even, huh?
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Even though in the last couple of years, were they number 1?
You know, they weren't number 1 last year, no.
I don't think they were, right?
No.
But, they're going to rebound and they're going to come back. So what do you got on them? Anything?
Yeah, they're very, very strong. They got a quarterback there that we got to see, actually, a short period of time ago. And he's for real. He's a player. Not only can he throw the ball well, but he runs the ball well also. He's a big, tall, rangy kid. His name is Steve Lubisher. He's a senior, and he's touted for Boston College. Already got their hands on him, so he'll be attending Boston College, and he's a legit Division I quarterback. He's very, very good. I was shocked when he took off with the football how fast he was. I knew he could throw the ball well, but he could take off. And here's a kid you're gonna like, a tight end, Kevin Bauman from Red Bank Catholic. He's a junior tight end. He's about 6'4", Notre Dame.
Wow.
And he's a junior.
Wonderful.
And Notre Dame's got their eye on him. I think he's a commit to Notre Dame, and he's only a junior. But he's old school tight end, the big, tall, rangy kid, can get down the field, can get open, and make the catch. So big ball control kid.
Does the tight end still responsible for a lot of blocking?
Absolutely. So tight end, and he's a big, strong kid too. So he blocks well, and he also gets down the field and makes the catches. You look at some of the traditional tight ends, that you see on television, kids playing pros and stuff. They're all in that same range. That 6'4", that 220, 230, 240, but they still have wheels. They can still make it down the field, even though they're so big and heavy. They're still very strong and quick. So he's one of them.
And they're always very good receivers nowadays.
Oh, he's a ball control kid.
Because I'm trying to think of the tight end for the Patriots, who's the prototype, the Gronk, and of course everybody wants to be the Gronk.
Yeah.
And so I presume that people are looking to be like that. Who's the kid from Southern we did a couple of years ago? How did he do? Is he drafted anywhere yet?
Yeah, he's drafted Miami.
Oh, he did. Okay, see, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, we did him, and that kid.
He went to Penn State.
He dunked the ball, Dave, in a game like 4 times.
Yeah, no, he's a player.
Oh my God, this guy is unbelievable.
This kid's in the mold. He's in the same mold. This kid Bauman from Red Bank Catholic. He's in that same mold. He's a player, and he'll do well at Notre Dame.
Okay, now Red Bank Catholic usually is known for their all-around talent, but is their coach? What's the coach's name there?
Yeah, he's back after leaving. Coach Edgerly, he actually went on to coach in the pros. He actually started scouting with the Patriots, and then ended up, I think, playing with Cleveland. I thought he ended up coaching with Cleveland. Left Red Bank Catholic, now is back at Red Bank Catholic.
Okay, so that's going to be another big advantage. But do they usually have a good defense, Dave? Because I'm going to ask you that today, even about Brick. One thing I always knew about Coach Wolf, I knew he had the offense.
Right.
But these teams, you don't always know if they have a good defense.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about Brick very shortly because they're really up there this year, and yeah, they're a disciplined defense. They don't make mistakes. They cover well. They're not. I wouldn't say they have a great deal of talent, but they play well together. Very disciplined football team defensively, Red Bank Catholic, as well as having some kids that can get open, a quarterback that can get them the ball, pretty good running back, and Steve Somolewski. They got kids all over the place. Now, the biggest kid who made the biggest impression on all of us was the kicker. The kicker had scored 6 touchdowns, and the kicker put every one of them into the end zone, so nobody could run the ball out of the end zone. Plus, he had a great punt as well. He looks to me like a Division I punter. His name is Ryan O'Hara.
Ryan O'Hara.
He's a good one.
Okay, so it sounds like RBC, very solid, could maintain that top position all year. I think in a little bit in your opinion, a way I know how you hint things. Who we got in the second hole?
Well, second hole, we're gonna put really 2 and 3 almost together. Number 2, I got Rumson at number 2, and I'll tell you 3 it would be Brick. So these guys they're kind of mirror images. You know, they're both just do a great job. Brick is actually number 13 in this ranked in the state this year. Red Bank Catholic number 6 in the state. Brick ranked 13th in the state, but I have Rumson just slightly ahead of Brick. Those guys can go either way at number 2.
So tell me why, though.
Well, Rumson has been beating, they beat good teams with better scores. Brick hasn't really played anybody yet, so they could move up. They did handily beat Brick Memorial. Brick did, their rival, and they've beaten them like 6 years in a row now. So Brick could easily jump to that number 2 spot with just a little bit of a falter from Rumson. But Rumson has a good tight end as well, and Ian O'Connor, new quarterback, freshman, not a freshman, but a kid who's just started playing quarterback, and Colin Coles. They have a really good running back, Alex, but I never pronounce this kid's name right. I kill his name. Alex Moldesian, good running back. And the thing about Rumson is that they have so many kids on their program that they play the 2 platoon, because they have like 100 kids in their program, and they're only a small school. But they play.
That's amazing, because I know they're little, and they're a big school, and they're getting all these kids out for football. Does that usually tell you, Dave, that they have good Pop Warners and that? How do they get all the kids out?
They have a great Pop Warner system. The whole system is just geared towards football and helping kids, progress. The whole town, the whole system, the whole town is behind the Rumson football program. Has been for years. So really, they've had like 3 or 4 head coaches in the last 6 or 7 years, and every single one of them has won. I mean, there was a little bit of a stint there where they won like 3 state championships, 4 state championships in a row. So there's a tradition there, kind of like Brick had for many years.
With the great Warren Wolf.
Yes.
Okay, so you got Brick in the 3 hole. Tell us about it.
They got Brick in the 3 hole. They have 3 kids that are really good athletes. Cole Groeschel, the quarterback Jimmy Leblo, and a kid named Anthony Prado. So these 3 kids are the nucleus of that Brick team as far as the athletes. And then they have, like they normally have, really good solid blocking and tackling. I mean, they do blocking and they do tackling, and that's what the game is all about. Who can block and who can tackle. And they're very good at it. Plus, they got some really good athletes.
And the gentleman coaching played under Wolf, correct?
Yes, Zdanowitz. Yeah.
Zdanowitz. I mean, I think he was back.
And he's a defensive-minded guy, too.
He is?
Yeah, he's very good defensively. Yeah.
So you got Rumson in the 2, Brick in the 3.
Right.
And this could be the type of Brick, and there's realignment, which means Brick won't have to hit some of the schools they played in the A South. So they'll be playing other schools, which sometimes, to me, I always like to play other schools. What do you think of that? I don't always like playing the same schools.
Yeah. Well, I like to have the nucleus of playing those, those divisional rivals that you play every year. But then, of course, your extra games would definitely be, let's test the waters. And I want to play the best teams that I can play. I want my kids to see the best teams that go up against the best kids and test themselves against those best kids. It can only make you better.
And that helps with the PowerPoints, right?
It also helps with the PowerPoints. If you play, if you're a smaller, mediocre team, even if you lose to a really good team, you gain PowerPoints. Yes.
Okay.
And that system's a mess now too, with the PowerPoint.
I know, you told me that before
And like
today.
you said, the divisions
We're
are
not
all
getting into it.
the divisions are all changed. We need a whole nother show to go over
I
that.
know the way you were telling me. So how about who's in the, let's see, we got the 2 to 3. Who's in the 4 hole?
4 hole, I got Long Branch. And Long Branch had some kids returning. Now, last year you had asked me about the overall picture. How good is the Shore Conference last year? And I at the time I said I'm not impressed. I didn't think that they were that great. And the bottom line is that we only had one state champion last year, and that was Long Branch. We had three or four other teams that were undefeated going into the playoffs, into the finals, that all lost. However, Long Branch was the one that stayed above, and they became the lone state champion last year. So they do have some returning players.
So Rumson lost last year. Did they get to the final?
Yes, them and there was like three other teams that were all undefeated going into the state's finals and lost.
Okay. And so Long Branch now opened the season. You told me, I think they beat East, correctly?
Yes.
And what was
Soundly.
that? Soundly.
Yes.
Soundly means in the 20s, in the third?
41 to 6.
41 to 6, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Soundly.
Yes.
So do they got good players?
Yes. Yes. Long Branch has a real good running back named Jermaine Corbett. He's a junior. He was very, very good last year as a sophomore, and he's back. They have a new quarterback this year, Mark Dennis, who's playing well. 2 really good receivers, Zadir Bluford and wide receiver Shashez Lovett. So besides having a good running back, good quarterback's making some progress. He's new, playing very well. And good linebacker in Luke Arnold, a couple of good linemen, Kevin Cerruti and Mark Dennis. So good nucleus of athletes in some of the important spots, running backs, receivers, and a new quarterback, and very sound all the way around.
Okay. Do any of these teams go both ways? Because you said that Rumson likes to have a 2 platoon. How about Long Branch? Do they?
Well, in a perfect world, I think all schools would like to have, you just play offense, you just play defense. But a lot of these kids they're going to, especially the athletes, they're going to transform from those offensive positions. They're going to play defensive back or linebacker on the defense, because they need those athletes to do, to cover people. Just they got presented with, some speed kids week to week. They're going to need people to cover. So a lot of those kids, like on a Long Branch team, you might get, 3 or 4 of those really good receivers. But when they're on defense, they're going to turn around. They're going to go play D-back. So I would say on a team like Long Branch, I would say they don't have too many kids that go both ways, or too many kids that just play one way.
Okay. How about in the 5 hole?
5 hole is Matter Day. Another non-public. They have a real good running back in Isaiah Nogeria, running back Malik Ingram. They're very solid. They have a defensive lineman, Isaiah Henderson. He's a BC kid. They have 2 BC kids on their team right now. Kids that are going to Boston College next year. Another kid, linebacker, Shatia Salah, also going to Boston College.
Wow. And the quarterback from RBC.
And the quarterback from RBC going to Boston
It's
College.
nice from the area.
Right. So we got some Boston College doing a lot of work locally. We still got a couple of Rutgers kids we'll get to that will be going to Rutgers, but it's not as many kids overall as I'm used to seeing, with that next level college, Division I kids in the Shore this year.
Okay.
There's some, but not as many.
Is that because of size, you think? Is that size? Is it not real big?
I don't know. It's the Shore Conference in general, like I said, was down last year. It's starting to pick up a little bit, in general. So we're getting more and more kids starting to play football again. For a little while there, it was stagnant. Not as even the Pop Warners. They were getting less kids involved in Pop Warner. Some of the Pop Warner programs were even closing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's starting, knock on wood, to change and get better. So.
Okay.
It starts there, right?
Yeah, it starts at the bottom. You got to start somewhere.
But Modern Day looks good. They've won their first 2 games and they've won well. They've beaten teams pretty well. And they have a friendly schedule.
They usually have a friendly schedule.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
So were they undefeated going into the championships last year? Do you guys remember?
Yeah, we did the game actually. We covered their game. Their finals.
Bad? Close?
Yeah, they got beat. They got beat fairly.
30-12, St. Joe's down South Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. What do we got next, David?
After Mater Day is a school that we haven't seen in that top in a little bit of a while, and they're back. That's Manasquan. Manasquan's back, and they're senior dominated. They got seniors across the board. This is their year. So Manasquan is very good, very solid, and have a lot of experience coming back.
Was that the school Vic Caboo coached at?
Yes, Vic Caboo.
They had great teams.
Yeah, for many years, and he had the thing about Manasquan is that those families are still there from when Vic coached them before. And their family and their children and their kids, they're all loyal back to Manasquan. It's not like here where, this kid was real good, but he's transferred here or he transferred there. Not in Manasquan. Manasquan, those kids are loyal. Those families are loyal. And they get their second generation and third generation players in Manasquan. They stay.
That's good.
Yeah,
they build a good tradition.
Absolutely. They got a great fullback in Rashid Tuttles. Another running back that you'll hear a lot about. His name is Canyon Birch, and he's going to West Point.
Wow.
So he's for real. He's a player.
Okay.
Great lacrosse player.
He is?
He's a great lacrosse player as well. So we're understanding. Good lineman Art Foreman, Dylan DeAnton. Good wide receiver in James Prendergast. You might have heard his name before. And good tight end in Jack Fabian. So good running backs, solid. They come right at you. Old school football, Manasquan, they come right at you.
Okay.
So.
Now, here's the thing. You mentioned a senior-laden class, and when I coached, I have to tell you, in high school and in college, I like seniors.
Right.
And I don't know, especially in high school.
Right.
Because I always think it's their last year, and they got something to prove. Because when the kids were younger, and even though sometimes the juniors might have had more talent, and the sophomores were pretty good, but they never had that reason to really show you how good they were,
Yeah, so by the time they're seniors, they got a chip on their shoulder.
This is it. They're gone. So I really think they play better in their senior year.
Yeah. I've seen programs where if the seniors were the linemen and the juniors were the athletes, they would win state championships. And then the following year, when those senior linemen were gone and all the athletes were still there, they didn't do as well. So just those
takes
linemen,
a good line.
Those linemen make a difference.
I got you.
So yeah, good senior dominated Manasquan team. They're in the number 6 hole. And also coming back this year, number 7 is Middletown South.
You feel them?
Middletown South is back in the loop again. Yeah, they're playing well, disciplined, strong, great defense. And I love watching them play defense because their defensive coordinator is a lot like, has the same philosophy that I had when I was coaching defense. I mean, he would mix it up. He would move guys. He would do what they call a stem. Stem means you line up in a whatever, a 1 technique and a 2 technique, but before the snap, you would switch. and you would throw the line blocking off. So now this guy was in a 1, now he's in a 3. This guy was in a 3, now he's in a 1, and they're making line calls to block, and none of the line calls stand up anymore.
Them guys move.
Because they move all over the place, which is what I like to do when I was coaching.
So it's a stem.
I love their defense. Yeah, I love watching them
Do
play.
they have any great offensive players like they had that young kid that went to Georgia?
Moshe Moreno.
Yeah. Anybody like that?
No, nobody like
No?
that. I don't know if they'll ever find anybody like that. But yeah, he was special. But no, they don't have any. They don't have any. Jump out at you type of kids like Noshawn was. Good quarterback in Trevor Bray. They've gone now more to the option look now. I don't understand why, but they're running more option. I guess they have a quarterback that can do it. I guess that's the only reason I could think of why they've gone to the option. This kid Bray handles the ball well. He looks like they're Navy or Army game, where they're playing, they're running option they're pretty well. They do it pretty well. So I guess that's why they do it. Good wide receiver Matt Crowan. Also good tight end Matt Tardy. Running back James Petrillo. I was pretty impressed with him when we saw them play. So Middletown South is back in the loop. They're playing good football. So that's the number 7.
7. Yeah, and Middletown South used to always be in a 1-2-3 slot.
Right.
Sloughed a little bit, like RBC did, but now you feel they're getting back into that progress where they could move up as the season goes.
Yes, that's very possible.
All right.
In fact, they're going to play Toms River North during the course of the season, and Toms River North just happens to be our next topic, and that the number 8 seed.
You got them in the 8.
Who moved up from not being in the top 10 at all.
But with the win over Manalapan.
Correct.
And you felt that was a good win.
They beat a great team, even though it was only a 1-point win,
At the end.
and it was off of some crazy kickoff returns.
Both teams scored off kickoff returns right at the end.
At the end of the game.
They went 90 yards and 100 yards.
So, I would, even though they beat a highly ranked Manalapan team, I wouldn't yet jump them up into that category yet, because it's just the one win.
Right.
It's a good win, but it's just the one win.
Okay.
So if they
was Manalapan scheduled to be good?
Manalapan was ranked in the top 5 or 6.
They were.
Yes. So they beat a top ranked team, but they're not going to automatically get their spot. You know what I'm saying? They have to work their way.
Yeah.
Right. But they are in the top 10 now, and they're at number 8. They got a kid who's 6'7", 300 pounds. Rutgers, I'm happy to say. He's a Rutgers commit. He's a heck of a lineman. Then they got another good lineman.
What's his name?
I didn't give you his name.
Is that
Najir Hollenbach.
Oh, Hollenbach.
My bad. I thought
because does J.R. Smith's nephew play with them? I know he plays with basketball. Is he football too? He's a big
I'm
kid.
not sure if he's
Well,
there
I guess
or
not.
not.
I would
He
say
might be.
you'd have him.
He might
Because
be.
he's about 6'6", about
Yeah.
250, 260. I don't know. But
Might be.
basketball, he's,
Might be.
we had
'Cause I
him
know,
in basketball.
JR, I coached JR in football
Did you?
at Lakewood. Yeah, he was my safety. Great kid. I liked him. He was a kid that you could just tell him to do something once and he did it. He wasn't one of these kids where you tell him over and over again, look, you got to do this. If you told JR, listen, if this tight end's here, you got to go over there and play that cover, he would do it. Never had to tell him anything twice. Great kid, great athlete.
This 300-pound guy, Rutgers.
6'7".
Wow.
300 pounds, Najir Hollenbach, Rutgers. Senior Stavon Drew, 6'2", 260. North is known for having big giants.
I know, on the line. Okay.
And they've always had problems with the athletes, but now they've solved that problem. They got a sophomore quarterback. Their starting quarterback left and went to Lakewood. So now they have a sophomore kid, Jake Kozanowski, who's the sophomore quarterback that's going to be starting. C.J. Nizaliski, tight end. Good receiver, Deshaun Wilder. And good linebacker, Jordan Johnson. So they look pretty good first game. Let's, I give them credit. Let's see how they do going down the line. I think they got a friendly schedule as well till they meet with Middletown South. Those were the two teams on their schedule that were tough: Middletown South and Manalapan. And
Okay.
they took care of one of the problems.
Sounds delicious.
So
Give me number 9.
Number
buddy.
9 is Jackson, which could be a change. Jackson holding on by a thread to the number 9 spot. Leo Shimnovich.
Did
great
they
running
win?
back.
Did they
Good
win
running
first
back.
game?
Yeah, they won, but
Close.
not as well as I thought they should have.
Okay.
Leo Simnovich, great running back, one of the best running backs in the Shore. John Giaz, their quarterback. John Maffey, Colin McCarthy. Nick Tomlovich, good wide receiver. Another good running back and safety, Chris Richardson. Good lineman and Colin McCarthy. So that's number 9. Number 10.
Give me
We'll
10.
move along,
because
right?
we're getting there, buddy.
Yeah, number
we're getting,
10.
We're getting the word from
I know, I'm getting the
1
word. Hurry
minute.
up.
Give me number 10.
Yeah, we took a lot of time on some of the other stuff, but number 10 is Donovan Catholic.
Oh, good. I like to hear that.
Good. So it could have been Wall, Shore, or Manalapan. It could have been any of those. But Donovan Catholic has impressed. They did well in the early on in the 7-on-7s. They actually beat all the other Ocean County teams in the 7-on-7s. They got a good program, good throwing. Chippy, he likes to throw the football, and he's got a kid that can throw, and he's got some kids that can catch. So they're number 10. They're a good quarterback and punter in Ryan Clark. Good wide receiver, Andre Lanny. Good running back in Jadir Laughlin. Another good running back, Damian Johnson. Another good wide receiver, James Bivens. And another good running back in Quamir Green. So they look good, especially Andre Laney, the receiver. He looks really good. So they got some talent that they haven't had in a while. Great throwing football team.
All right, David, you did a great job as usual. And the only last question that I have to give you, give me your top 3 for the end of the year. I always ask the boys.
I think top 3 at the end of the year. The first 2 are easy. The first 2 is Red Bank Catholic and Rumson.
Okay.
Red Bank Catholic's they look great. And Rumson, and third is probably Brick.
Good job. Great job, David. Remember, kids, just don't go out watch it in the stands or watch it on television. Get out and participate. Stay off that alcohol and drugs. A quick sign off. See you next week.